Hi everyone, welcome back to Lisa's Love and Light. How are you guys doing today? It's a Saturday. I'm normally not on here on a Saturday, but I wanted to do a part two to a prior video that I did about grief and anxiety. I noticed that a lot of people watched that video and it caught their attention. So I decided that it was important to do a second video about it. Remember, guys, that for those who are new here and for those who I might have to just update, remember I'm not a counselor, I'm not a social worker or a therapist. I'm someone who have gone through a lot of pain, grief, anxiety, sometimes in my life depression, due mostly to painful trials and tribulations that came upon my life like a domino effect, unexpectedly, out of nowhere. And I had to find effective ways to deal with these things. It was not easy. At times, today, even though I minimize it, I still have moments of grief-stricken moments due to loss and traumatic situations that happen in my life. Um, However, what I'm here to share with you is that even though we have these unexpected things that come up in circumstances in our life, it doesn't mean that we have to be trapped and stuck and stagnated in a pain. We can overcome it instead of succumbing to it. And this is what I do on this channel, is talk about how I became an overcomer of the anxiety, the pain, the grief, and every negative thing that life threw at me. Especially the negative circumstances that took place like a domino effect, hitting me one after the other. So I had to find ways to become an overcomer. And this is what I do on this channel, is talk to you guys about overcoming these trials, tribulations, and circumstances. Remember, you don't have to be a victim to it. You can overcome. And, excuse me, perhaps there's something in these videos that I say that might help you. Those who might be going through some of the things that I discuss here. Perhaps what I say may be beneficial in helping you with your own situation. Remember, we're here to build up, and not to tear down. So with that being said, the title today is called Grief and Anxiety Part 2. Grief and Anxiety Part 2. One of the things I learned by going through all these trials and tribulations that I had from 2020, especially to up until 2023, which was the most painful times in my life, what I realized, guys, is that I had to find, besides prayer and asking God to help me, because let me tell you about God, He will help you if you help yourself. Excuse me, suffering with some allergies today. You can ask God for help and be in prayer, but you have to take the initiative steps in what you're asking for. You can't sit down like a couch potato and wait for God to work. When you help yourself, God will come through and help you. I noticed that no matter how difficult my life had become, that if I took a half a step, God was behind the scenes taking 2 and 3 steps as He saw that I made the effort. One of the things that I did that was effective was to minimize the toxicity in my life. People who were bringing drama, negativity, gossip, anything on a toxic level to my table, I had to set strong boundaries so that I can minimize the toxicity. Instead of choosing other people and being subservient and carrying their burdens, I decided to choose myself. Self-care was important as well as setting boundaries. And what I noticed is that some people didn't like boundaries. So what they did, they started to disrespect them, jump, skip, and hop over them. And through therapy, which was my first step, because you have to have an outlet, the key factor for the pain. The pain, you cannot allow it to stay stuck and stagnated. So I started, besides prayer, is with having therapy sessions weekly. And it helped me because talking about the pain, addressing it was an outlet for it as well. So that's where I started, And when I started with that, after doing that on a regular basis, what I realized is that I was able to find creative ways to minimize the pain and anxiety, and certain creative ways to do that to help myself so that I don't succumb to those trials and tribulations. Others might not understand your grief and pain, and that's okay because they may not have walked in your shoes with your circumstances. However, they should understand and respect your boundaries and not question them, especially when you tell somebody that you're going through something and it's affecting your mental and physical health, and that you have to find ways to get through it so that you don't succumb to it. And when you do this, people should respect that and should understand that you may need time alone for self-care. Like I said, I started with therapy, and then as I continue, I found some creative ways to get through this. My experience with grief, loss, and pain that affected my mental and physical health, guys, it had me on my knees. Because like I said, it wasn't one particular situation, especially during a shutdown in 2020. It was loss after loss. Every week I was getting phone calls about this one died. And within one of those things, one person committed suicide, which really, really just shocked me to my very core. No one should get to the point where they feel that bad and that they give up on life. And learning lessons taught me a lot too. But when you're going through things, that's a domino effect of pain, and it comes like unexpectedly. It's coming over here, over there, up there, here, and it was a lot. And like I said, therapy helped me through it. Prayer to God, asking Him to help me as I help myself, and made some vows to Him as well. I have a little bit of notes here so that I can cover some things with those who are listening, because I want these messages of what I've gone through help you guys, because I'm going to talk about ways that I overcame these things. I mean, you never get over grief, but you can get through it. And you can live your life to the fullest, and I'm living proof of that, guys. Some of the ways that I healed my grief is like right now, music. I am a very fervent music fan. I have a playlist of music, especially when I want to keep my vibes high, because sometimes, life will, if you take in a lot of toxicity in situations, it starts to affect your mental and physical health. That's why it's important to set boundaries of how much you're going to take in it. You can't get away from it 100%, but you can minimize how much you can take of it in your life. Especially if it's affecting your mental and physical health. You have to protect that at all costs. Your peace, your mental and physical health should always be a priority. So some of the ways that I did this is through music, as I have music here, flowers, and then alone time so that I can reflect on my situation, stay in prayer, ask God to help me, find ways to help myself. Puzzles, jigsaw puzzles. I use the metaphor of that all the time, putting together puzzle pieces, because it keeps my mind busy and it minimizes my anxiety at times that I had due to grief. Spending time alone is okay, guys. Learning to love yourself enough to spend time alone. I think on a daily basis it's important to take 2 hours at least, or 1 hour to start for yourself on a daily basis, to build up your mental and physical health through things that builds up your spirit and not tear it down. That's one of the things I've learned so far on this journey. I also learned that life, circumstances, trials, and tribulations may come into our life for a reason, a season, a lifetime, or a lesson. In my case, these were unlearned lessons that kept spinning back around because I didn't learn them. So when you don't learn them, they come back again, bigger, worse sometimes, different characters, same scenario. And then what I learned is that as I learned those lessons, I was able to close those doors and move on from it. Learning to forgive myself and to forgive others. Forgiving others is not for them, it's for you, so that you can release the pain and not stay stuck in bitterness, because if somebody hurt you real bad or betrayed you or did some traumatic thing to you that affected your mental and physical health, if you stay stuck in a place of bitterness, guess what, guys? That person who hurt you or did that thing to you, they move on over here while you stay stuck and stagnated and in pain. So the forgiveness is for you so that you can move on, so that you don't stay stuck and a pain and a bitterness and all that stuff take a chokehold on you. Release that. Forgive yourself. Forgive them so that you can move on and not stay stuck in a pain. That's a major lesson that I've learned so far, guys. Facing the pain. And what the metaphor I use for that is addressing the elephant in the room. As a child growing up, what I learned, and I had to change that broken mindset, what happens in this house stays in this house. Because guys, if you have been affected by childhood trauma, things that affected you tremendously, your mental and physical health, how can you heal from it if nobody is addressing the pain and you're pretending it's not there? What happens as you grow up as an adult? Now you're carrying burdens. You're carrying suitcases, luggage, and you're taking those things to new connections, which will affect any connection if you're not healing it. And that's what I've learned so far on this journey called life. You have to address the elephant in the room, because if not, the elephant in the room that I'm describing is the pain. It just grows and gets bigger and bigger while people walk around it and pretending it's not there. So if you're not addressing it, then the pain stays stuck deep within. The anxiety grows, etc., and so forth. So one of the ways to minimize that is to find outlets for the pain so you don't stay stuck and trapped in it. And that's what I've learned so far. Take one day at a time, guys, to heal that. And anybody or any circumstances or situations that's bringing pain, grief, anxiety, or triggering it within you, set boundaries. Also, what I had to do when people were bouncing, jumping all over and disrespecting the boundaries that I had in place, and even though I explained why they were there, and I would reiterate those boundaries, and if they continue to disrespect them, I end up cutting off, blocking, and deleting these individuals and circumstances from my life. Taking as little as minimal toxicity, because it will help your mental and physical health. That should always be a priority, regardless if anybody understands that or not. That's not your problem, So guys, with all of this being said, these are some of the ways that I helped myself. It didn't happen overnight. I had to continue to struggle with it. I learned, instead of succumbing to the pain, I learned to turn that pain into power, power into purpose, purpose into paying it forward to help myself as I help other people as well. Because as we help other people, it helps us to grow as well. It helped me to grow as well, and to persevere through the trials and tribulations instead of succumbing to it. And then one day you can be an example to somebody else as you tell your story, because it may be helping somebody who might be struggling right now. And here's something else that I'm going to share with you, some information here. And my mom, growing up, used to have these bracelets on. She would have copper bracelets, and I would ask her, and she said it would help her with certain pains in her body, like arthritis, etc. One of the things I've noticed when it comes to anxiety, here's some other things that might help you with it. I'm saying that might, nothing is guaranteed, but anxiety crystal bracelets might help you. Try different things and see what it does for your circumstances, especially if you are, experiencing some anxiety and you want to minimize it. Try certain things and see if it helps you. Anxiety crystal bracelets might help you. What I also do, like I said, to help me is jigsaw puzzles that help my mind, because if I am busy mentally, I'm doing things, like I like to stimulate my mind. So jigsaw puzzles, crossword puzzles, things like that, and music, all these things help me to stay mentally balanced. And I'm sharing this with those who are listening because it might help you as well. So with all that being said, check out the links that I have attached to this video. Because these things, and go and click on them and look at these things. And you can decide which method might be effective in helping you, to ease your anxiety. It may help, so check out certain things because it might help you, guys. One day at a time, one step at a time. The key factor is to persevere and to keep moving forward. Never give up on yourself, guys. It is better to be at a place of peace and a peace instead of broken down into pieces. So once again, guys, under this video topic, please go to the links and check out what's there and see if any of these things might help you with your situation of anxiety, grief, or pain. And also, guys, subscribe to the channel and help others that that might be going through trials and tribulations to subscribe to the channel as well. And let's keep this going. I also want to say for newcomers before I leave that I'm usually here Monday through Friday. I never give a time because my schedule is so busy right now. However, I do show up Monday through Friday. So please subscribe to the channel and invite others to do the same so that you can be here and you can get the message. And each day that we do that, it's a different title, but the same message about healing. It is so important in the world that we live in today. Thank you for being here. This is Lisa, shedding love and light. And I appreciate every one of you. And please keep showing up here. And also do something on a daily basis to help yourself. And have a great weekend. I'll see you guys again on Monday. Bye for now.